Meanwhile, raging pandemic politics has peaked in Andhra Pradesh with the opposition TDP training its guns on Chief Minister Jagan Reddy over the Tirupati hospital deaths. The ruling Jagan government in turn has come down heavily on former Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu. Take a look at the politics that has exploded.
ప్రజల్ని బలిగొంటున్నటువంటి కరోనా మహమ్మారి కంటే కూడా అత్యంత ప్రమాదకరమైన వ్యక్తిగా మనకి వాళ్ళ చంద్రబాబు నాయుడు గారి నైజం బయటపడుతోంది.
Stinging attacks and counter-attacks. COVID politics peaking in Andhra Pradesh. From vaccination shortages to crippling health infrastructure in the state, the opposition Telugu Desam party is going all guns blazing against the Jagan government. Firing a fresh salvo, TDP chief Chandrababu Naidu's son and party MLC Nara Lokesh has claimed that the death toll at Tirupati's Ruya hospital tragedy was way above the officially released figure of 11. He alleges that the Jagan Reddy government is telling lies to cover up its failure and further claimed that 76 people had in fact died due to oxygen shortage all over the state.
Ground reports are saying that the casualties are even more, maybe twice or thrice of what the official figure is.
The TDP has further claimed that the state government was trying to suppress facts by restricting media and opposition leaders from visiting the Tirupati hospital. Chief Minister Jagan, meanwhile, has written to Prime Minister Modi, pinning the blame for the Tirupati deaths on the delay in oxygen supply from neighbouring Tamil Nadu and Karnataka. He has also come down heavily on former Chief Minister Naidu with a sensational claim, drawing a link between Bharat Biotech and Naidu. Chief Minister Jagan has insinuated that vaccine supply was being deliberately hampered by the opposition.
ఇంకా ఆశ్చర్యం ఏంటంటే ఈ భారత్ బయోటెక్ అన్నది ఎవరిది అని అంటే సాక్షాత్తు ఈ చంద్రబాబు నాయుడు గారి బంధువులు.
So it is absolutely ridiculous. We condemn it very strongly. It is only to divert the people's attention from his failures that Jagan Reddy had stooped down to such a low level.
In a possible reference to complaints of vaccine shortage from some states, Bharat Biotech said it was disheartened to see their intentions being called into question. And that's not all of it. Former Chief Minister Naidu was also recently booked for creating panic by the Kurnool police for his comments on the N440K variant of COVID-19 in South India. With Ashish Pandey in Hyderabad, Bureau Report, India Today. And part of our daily series, Heroes versus Covidiots. Amidst this raging pandemic, several citizens are ramping up efforts to help COVID patients. Some are doing their bit to spread awareness, but sadly, there are so many who are still openly flouting COVID protocols. There are two videos on your screen today. The left one is from Tamil Nadu, where the police is busting fake news and misinformation and spreading awareness among the public with folk songs and drums in Rameshwaram, going beyond the call of duty. They're also wearing a novel coronavirus-like helmet to enforce discipline among commuters. And on your right, social distancing norms going for a toss at a vegetable market in Punjab's Ludhiana. Vendors and buyers can be seen not adhering to protocols. The government has asked people to stay 6 feet apart from one another. Covidiots not only put their own lives in peril, remember, they often prove to be potential super spreaders. They harm you and me as well. Well, Covidiots still haven't understood the magnitude of the second wave and how dangerous it could be if you break protocols. However, in the midst of all this, there are stories that lift your hopes too. That's why we always want to show you the bad and the good. On your left, images of mini buses that have been transformed into ambulances at a bus depot in Haryana's Kurukshetra, which has converted 5 of its little buses into ambulances for COVID patients. According to officials, each of these vehicles has been equipped with 4 beds, stretchers, sanitizers, PPE kits. But on the right-hand side of your screen, you can see crowds thronging a Chennai hospital to procure remdesivir drugs. A huge gathering seen outside the Kilpauk Medical College despite the lockdown in place in the state. Social distancing, masks, all of it straight out of the window. And as coronavirus cases are continuing to surge, hundreds, if not thousands of people flooded the Charminar market in Old Hyderabad ahead of Eid ul-Fitr festivities. This is despite calls by the police for people not to crowd the area. Many people were seen flouting social distancing norms just hours before the state went into lockdown. Take a look.
This is Hyderabad's iconic Charminar market. Hundreds of people flooded the market for shopping. The shoppers swarmed the market ahead of Eid ul-Fitr festivities. The market was jam-packed, social distancing norms all but forgotten. Many did not even bother to wear a mask. The massive rush at Charminar market was witnessed just hours before Telangana went into a 10-day lockdown. A decision that has drawn flack from AIMIM chief and Hyderabad strongman Asaduddin Owaisi. Just last week, similar scenes were witnessed at Charminar, but no strict action was taken against those flouting COVID norms. As cases continue to surge, what will take for these Covidiots to learn their lesson? With Ashish in Hyderabad, Bureau Report, India Today.
Hyderabad MP Asaduddin Owaisi has appealed to citizens to offer their Eid prayers at home and not converge in mosques. That happened just a few days ago. Listen in to this message.
मेरी आपसे गुजारिश है कि ईद की नमाज आप अपने घर में अदा करिए। मस्जिद में सिर्फ 2 या 3 लोग मस्जिद में नमाज अदा करेंगे क्योंकि हम मस्जिद को वीरान नहीं कर सकते। कोविड का पूरा लिहाज रखिए, मास्क पहनिए, लॉकडाउन के गाइडलाइंस को फॉलो करिए। यकीनन इस लॉकडाउन से गरीबों पर बहुत बड़ा तकलीफ बनेगी। मैं शुरू से लॉकडाउन के खिलाफ रहा हूं, मगर हाई कोर्ट का फैसला है, ऑर्डर है और हुकूमत ने जियो भी जारी किया है। तो मेरी आप तमाम से गुजारिश है कि ईद की नमाज घर में पढ़िए।
And it is our commitment here on India Today to chart and map and document every instance of suffering and negligence during this COVID fight. And there are no end to COVID woes in Uttar Pradesh, India's most populous state. Etava's biggest hospital, Bhimrao Ambedkar Hospital, has no doctors, no bathrooms, no sanitation workers. India Today's Preeti Chaudhary was there. She said there isn't even a BP machine, and the horror doesn't end there. Relatives of COVID patients are being forced to administer oxygen themselves. No restrictions on moving in and out of the COVID ward, exposing hundreds of non-COVID patients to the deadly virus. Sanitation staff have outright refused to work in the COVID wards. Piles of garbage lying just outside the wards. God help those who help themselves. Hospital staff at Bhimrao Ambedkar taken this seriously and left COVID patients Bhagwan Bharose. Meanwhile, the Uttar Pradesh police has now taken cognizance of India Today's report and promised action.
तो एक तो ग्रामीण लोगों के लिए दवा प्रोवाइड कराएं, दूसरा उनको जो टॉयलेट बाथरूम है वो प्रोवाइड कराएं।
मेरी माँ बीपी के पेशेंट हैं, तो मैंने उनको कल परसों बोला भी था कि मुझे बीपी की उनकी दवाई देनी रहती है। तो मैंने और डॉक्टर से कंसल्ट किया तो उन्होंने मुझसे बोला कि एक बार बीपी आप चेक करा के उनको दवाई दीजिएगा, क्योंकि इस टाइम बहुत सारी ओवरडोज दवाइयाँ हो जाएंगी तो दिक्कत हो जाएगी। तो मैंने पता किया तो यहाँ पे बोला गया कि यहाँ बीपी की मशीन नहीं है। 8 दिन से पोछा नहीं लगा, झाड़ू लगती है बिल्कुल साइड से, वो भी बैठ के नीचे पोछा, वो झाड़ू भी नहीं लगती है, वो भी आप पैर से ऐसे बोलती है कि सामान ऐसे निकाल के बाहर दीजिए।
इंजेक्शन जब 20 बार का हो तब लगाने आते हैं डॉक्टर, वो भी कह देते 8 बजे का टाइम है, 8 बजे आऊंगा, और बीच में कोई सुविधा नहीं, कोई कुछ नहीं है यहाँ।
मदर को देखा है डॉक्टर ने अभी तक?
अभी एक आध बार जब बोला है तो आ जाते हैं, नहीं तो अपने मन से कोई देखने नहीं आया। बस मैंने रिपोर्ट दिखाई है तो उन्होंने दवाई बता दी, ये खिलाओ पिलाओ।
आपको बता दिया?
हाँ, तो हम वही लेके जा रहे हैं। और जब दवाई लगाने के लिए बोलते हैं तो वो बोल देता उसके पास जाओ, दूसरे के पास जाओ, वो कहता उनके पास जाओ।
जहाँ जाके क्लीनिंग करते हैं बर्तनों की, हैंड वॉश करते हैं, वहाँ पे गंद पड़ी है चारों तरफ।
वहाँ पे लोग टॉयलेट जा रहे हैं।
टॉयलेट जा रहे हैं।
सुविधा तो बिल्कुल नहीं है। जिस पेशेंट है किसी को लेटरिन की कोई व्यवस्था नहीं है, पानी
लैट्रिन की कोई व्यवस्था नहीं है।
कोई लेटरिन नहीं, अपना ले जाओ।
कहाँ जाते हैं
सीरियस
लोग?
मरीज हो ऐसे खुले में करवाते हैं,
खुले में
करवाते हैं।
I'm yet to see something like this. This is a COVID ward. It's supposed to be a high security protected COVID ward in Etawah. I have walked right in. People are lying right here. This is the entrance. There's no restroom. There is no bathroom for any of them to actually go. They are defecating outside wherever they find space. There is no doctor. I have now looked for at least 20 minutes here. There is no doctor. There are no nurses. They are each to their own. Attendants are the ones who are managing the patients. Reporting with camera person Hitesh Kumar in Etawah, Preeti Chaudhary for India Today.
The suffering diary